Well, I really like my gardening. Put my hands in that fresh soil. Starting that plant from that little seed. Sit back and watch them grow. And then you harvest it. You can preserve it, or you can eat it. Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to Poorboys Little Homestead. As always, if this is your first time here, thanks for dropping in. Feel free to drop in anytime you feel, my friend. Guys, today is December the 31st. Yes, sir, this year has gone by quick, ain't it? Well, tomorrow we like to have our New Year's dinner with our black-eyed peas and our cabbage, and well, that's the main two things, is black-eyed peas and cabbage. Well, we got some Katarina cabbage here, and it looks like I got about I'm gonna say there's 3 heads that I can cut right now. Now, this is Katarina cabbage, and the heads, that's about as big as they get, 5 or 6 inches in diameter. But guys, that's some good cabbage. I'm gonna pull them outside leaves right there off, and I'll pick them up and throw them in the chicken pen after a while. Let me get my box over here. But I know I ain't give y'all no update on the gardening in a while. So I thought I'd bring y'all along while I gathered me up some stuff, and we'll look at what's going on in this winter garden. Our weather has been some kind of crazy. December the 31st right now, and it's about 82 degrees out here. But it may have done cooled off a little bit. It's getting later, but it's been in the 80s, and a couple days ago it was 85, and it has been so humid you can't hardly breathe down here in Louisiana. But I think 3 heads of cabbage will be enough. I'm gonna let them other 2 there stay there a few more days. Like I said, these heads of cabbage here, that's about as big as they get, but this is some of the best cabbage I ever eaten in my life. I'll come back and cover that up after a while, because here in about 2 more days, which y'all may be seeing this by the time y'all see it, we ought to be in our cold front again. It's supposed to get down in the 20s, believe it or not. Guys, this next little bed right here is amazing cauliflower. Well, I never grew tomatoes, but I kinda like their flavor. They say the red ones taste much better, and I know that I can grow. So let's get. But this is an amazing cauliflower. It needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Started and get planted and see what happens. But we're gonna have us some fresh cauliflower. Now, these heads ain't the biggest heads, but they plenty big enough to harvest. This weather, like I said, going from hot to cold, hot to cold. But that ain't a bad head of cauliflower right there, especially for down here in zone 8. Only but that's some good cauliflower, I'll tell you that. Can you smell it? It must be real. It tastes so good. It tastes so good. Well, I never knew sugar beet. That's a little bit smaller. There's some right there that I'm gonna leave that. There's a pretty good head. I done give one, my neighbor come by this morning, I gave him a head of cauliflower. It was about that size. So that's 3 good ones. That's the biggest so far. But move y'all around here to the other side. But guys, this head right here, you really want to pick your cauliflower. You see how it's still all closed up tight? That's the way it's supposed to look. You see some of these others is starting to open up. You don't want to let it go much further than that right there. If it starts opening up too much, then it ain't as good. So I'm finna go on and cut all the bigger stuff. Like I said, this is the last day of December. If you go back and look at my videos, you'll see where I planted this. I planted the seeds straight into this bed. But this is some good heads of cauliflower now. Here's another good head. Like I said, they ain't the biggest heads, but these are still good and tight. They ain't spreading apart. But somebody's gonna get some cauliflower. A couple of my neighbors gonna get some cauliflower. Ain't no way we can eat all that right there before it burns. Guys, that's why I garden in these little beds. You can plant rows of this stuff, but all you're gonna do is give it away because you can't eat it. You can't store this, or I ain't never seen no way to preserve cauliflower. Cabbage. But I really like my green beans. I would tell you they are sweeter, but I really can't remember. Alright, so there's 2, 4, 6, and I give one away this morning. I will get this one too. If I don't get it now, it's just gonna run with the weather we're having coming. So there's 7 heads of cauliflower. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 or 8 more in there that I'm gonna leave. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get me some string here in a little bit. And I'm gonna pull them leaves over it like that and close it up. Then I'm gonna put my frost cover back down on it and see if any of them will continue on and make bigger heads. If I cut them right now, all I'm gonna do is just give them away. So I'm gonna leave them alone, get them see how much longer they'll go. That's a good one right there coming. I changed my mind again, guys, after looking at this one. This one here is opening up too much. It ain't no sense in leaving it. Like I said, if I ever start opening up like that, you might well go on and get them. No matter how big they are, how small they are. If it's greener or if it's sweeter, I can't remember. What does it matter? Well, I never planted cabbage. Guys, if it wasn't the time of the year it is, these here are still smaller and still tight, I would give this another good shot of nitrogen. But as late as it is, and I just ain't been up to par on gardening in the fall, all this stuff you see right now, I planted it, pretty much just covered it and left it alone. So let's get over here to our next bed and take a look. Now the next bed right here is Brussels sprouts. And some of the bigger ones up in here is just now starting to make little pea-sized Brussels sprouts right in the armpits. So it's just going to depend on what kind of weather we get and what goes on, whether the Brussels sprouts makes or not. Now last spring, for you that watches my videos, last spring y'all seen I done some in that bed back there. And they actually made Brussels sprouts, but it got hot. The temperature got hot a little too quick down here in Louisiana. And the Brussels sprouts, before they actually got to the size you needed to eat them, had done started opening up. But I did eat a few of them and they taste good. But I needed a little more time. These, on the other hand, it's just going to depend. It's a gamble. You don't know about weather. If it does like it did last year in February and go to ice and snow, that may be the end of them. Again, they may keep growing right here and make us some Brussels sprouts. But if they do, y'all see it later on in a video. This is my bed. It had two different kinds of lettuce. And y'all can see it's just growing, growing, growing. Actually, it's taller than it needs to be, but I just clip it and feed the rabbits. We eat lettuce off of it ourselves, but we don't eat that much lettuce. But that bed is slammed full of lettuce, and you can see on the back side where it's tied, I ain't been cutting none. I kind of been cutting around this edge and this half as far as I can reach, but back there in the back's real tall. That's some just good fresh lettuce. I know the rabbits love it. This right here, guys, was my broccoli. I just planted, what is it in there? About 8 broccoli plants, just because I've never grew broccoli before. I'll get y'all over here close. Depending on the weather, it might turn into some heads. Here's the biggest head right here. But out of these 8, this is the biggest head, and it probably ain't about, I don't know, that might be 3 inches in diameter, 2.5. But that's the biggest head. The rest of them look like about 1 inch to 1.25 inches. That there up in there ain't but about 1 inch. But I've never grew broccoli in my life. So I just planted this here just for you to see. And like I said, depending on our weather, what the weather's gonna do, it might come on and make some later. But this here was slow getting started. I gave it a lot of nitrogen, thinking from what I read, that's what it needed. And it still may have needed more nitrogen. But it just took it so long to get started, because this ought to have been ready the same time that cauliflower over there was ready. But anyway, it does make broccoli, but it ain't making a head like it needs to be. And maybe it'll do it when it gets more time. That's another thing, time will tell. But I'm just giving y'all an update on my little fall gardening, what little bit I did. This is the Dinosaur kale. We was eating on it some, guys, but after it got so hot, the end of December got up in these 80 degrees, the dang bugs. The bugs come in, and I just wasn't really in the gardening, wasn't really trying to keep the bugs off of it, but the bugs started eating it up. But our temperature, man, like I said, we had some mornings that it was literally ice. Some people said frost, but no, it was more than a frost because it was water froze in pans and stuff out here a couple mornings. And then it goes back up to 85 degrees and stuff. And it was real pretty, and we eat some of it in the beginning. But then the bugs got it. And I keep pulling off and pulling off. But it ain't done the best. And you say, well, why don't I do something about the bugs right now? Well, guys, I guess it's because we got more out here to eat than we really care about eating, so I just ain't really been worried about it. There was another bed of that mixed lettuce right there. You can see I just been pulling up, feeding the rabbits and stuff. Lettuce done good. Rainbow chard. We eat it when we want it. Down there on the left is red Russian kale. In the middle there's prism kale. Now we eat a mess of it. I don't know, sometimes once a week. But we don't eat as much of it as we did. I guess we burn ourselves out on it so much. But now the lettuce here, what was it? This on this side was butterhead lettuce. I can't remember what this lettuce right here. I don't see my tag. I can't remember the proper name of it. Here it is. This over here is Roman lettuce, and this over here is butterhead lettuce. And this lettuce done real good. Get y'all up here close, you see the heads. But after that hot temperature got so hot, the heads have started getting loose and opening up. Now we did pull some of it for Christmas. My wife made a 7-layer salad out of it, and it done good and tastes good. It had a lot of bad leaves on the outside from this weather so hot and mess, but the bugs ain't on it. Got a few leaves, but not bad like that dinosaur kale over there. But the lettuce done good. You can see how big around the little heads got. Like I said, I'm gonna bust that and open because I'm gonna just feed it to the rabbit. You can see that's beautiful lettuce in there. Beautiful lettuce. But guys, the temperature, it just got too hot again. Now I had this covered too, and this one here had a frost cover and it got ripped, so I just took it off. But far as the taste, this Roman lettuce here tastes better than that butterhead lettuce. That butterhead lettuce, it tastes better than it does now, because like I said, it's done loose, the heads is loosening up, but it's got a little bitter taste to it. But now this Roman lettuce right here, it's some good tasting lettuce. Just straight out of the garden. And here it is. End of December and still got fresh lettuce, guys. But now it's at its end. It's all over. What's here now get fed to the rabbits. There's some turnip greens I planted late. They just got some small greens. But we eat so many greens, and then the freezer got so many greens, I ain't even been eating them. Y'all remember I had a big turnip green and mustard green patch outside the fence there. Cut them down the other day. These here, they just out here growing, ain't even eating on them. Now this right here was southern collard greens. And guys, these things come up. And when they come up, they was big and beautiful. We eat a couple messes off of them. But after it went to that first, we got a couple of freezes. And then the temperature would go so hot, it's like, I don't know, it's like the thing stunted, like they just didn't really grow no more. I mean, this one here is the prettiest one here, but I mean, it ain't enough leaves on it that you harvested, it ain't gonna be nothing there, and they ain't coming back. So I was disappointed with the collard greens in the little bed here. You know, usually collard greens gets real big and big leaves where you could eat just that small amount. You could get a mess off of it about once a week, you know, once every 2 weeks. But for some reason, them there didn't do good in the bed, so I consider that a failure. I don't try to hide. I don't try to make excuses. I mean, when something grows, I'm happy with it, I tell you. But when something don't, it's just a failure, and to me, that's a failure. Here's some mustard greens that I planted real late. Cause what I did, I had my big patch out there, and I knew after so long I was gonna till them in, cause I raked the leaves and put on that dirt out there. Well, first I mowed the turnip greens and mustard greens with the lawnmower. Then I raked leaves after the leaves fell off the trees and put on that dirt, and I tilled it in. I knew I was gonna do that early, so I planted some more mustard greens and them little turnip greens we just looked at late, just in case we wanted a mess of greens. Now these are still good, but they got a lot of them with bugs on them. You can see a lot of holes. But as late as them planted, them was good, and they done what I wanted, because even the turnip greens in the bed we just looked at a few minutes ago, I knew we ain't gonna have time to make turnip bottoms. But we saved bottoms off the big patch, and we'll put up enough bottoms. Then if we want a mess of these mustard greens or them little turnip green leaves, we cut enough leaves for a meal, and we'll get a pack of them bottoms out and cut up and put in them. And like I said, they's done good. They just, the bugs has hit them hard with this temperature, the way it's been up so hot. I'm telling y'all guys, this last 2 weeks, right here on Christmas, was so hot and humid. To me, it seemed like it was hotter than it was in August a few of them days. It was just so humid and hot. I mean, it's hot today right now. And this is some of my onions I planted late fall. You can see they doing good. These are what you call gonna be overwinter onions. They ain't supposed to be ready till the spring. You can see some of them putting on several leaves and big stems. We'll see what they do. That's just a variety of onions I picked up. A pack, I think, at Wally World or something other, the Texas Grand onion and some other onion. I think these are all Texas Grand if I remember right. Guys, I can't keep up. Here's a tag. I knew I put a tag in here because I can't remember all these different. Yeah, this is the Texas Grand. I did remember that. But I ain't never raised Texas Grand that I know of, but I got these here, and I got another little pot sitting over there, got some in them. But they doing good. Of course, there's the red Russian kale we was looking at from the other direction a while ago. The red Russian kale and the prism kale does good. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get a little mess of that here after a while to take in there with that cabbage. Probably gonna eat me a little kale tonight. West char's good. The bugs ain't, it's got some with bug holes in it, but it ain't bad. Especially for me, and ain't been doing nothing to it as hot as it's been. Looking good. Looking good, doing good. But guys, y'all can see my asparagus down here. It's done turned brown. Matter of fact, here in just a little bit, hopefully in just a little bit, I'm gonna go on and prune that down, prune the ferns down. That's what I've been waiting on, for it to turn brown as it is, and I think that's brown enough to go on and prune that mess down. These little containers over here has got some icicle radishes in it. But I don't know if they gonna make, I mean, they growing and they green, but the first round of icicle radishes I had in there, I eat them, and then I planted some more. And then we had, like I said, had it getting them freezing mornings, and it kind of knocked them back. And now we've been out of cold weather again, so I don't think I'm gonna get another round of radishes out of them 2 pots. Of course, that on top of that one on the left there, that's just lettuce. That's the one we mainly eat lettuce out of. We usually got, you see it got clover growing up in it too. But we usually got our mess of lettuce we want just for a little salad out of this bed here. Actually, I took scissors the other day and it was cut all the way down and it's growing back good. And like I said, it's got some clover coming up in it. But that's a little bit about what's going on in my garden. I just ain't really been paying much attention to the garden. Like I said, my cauliflower and lettuce, that kind of stuff, once you plant it, yeah, I could have been putting something on it to help with the bug control, but I just ain't really been into it, and it's making fine. So I just want to give y'all an update on how my fall garden turned out, because this is pretty much it. It won't be long, it'll be time to actually till all that stuff up, let the dirt have a little rest before we start back in spring. Alright guys, there's my December the 31st of 2021, my little harvest for have for our dinner on the first of New Year's, along with some good black-eyed peas right out the freezer. Who knows, we might, well actually I'm sitting here telling you wrong. This kale's gonna be tonight for supper. And some of this cauliflower. But mainly this cabbage is gonna be cooked on the first, and some black-eyed peas, and no telling what else we're gonna be cooking up on the first to eat. We always cook us up a good traditional meal on the first of the year. But guys, I want to just show you, like I said, just a little update on my garden. I know some of you like watching my garden and stuff, and it's been a growing, this stuff's been growing. I just ain't been fooling with it, ain't had to do nothing to it. Needed to been spraying it for some bugs, but I didn't. But I just wanted to update y'all on that. But I hope you enjoyed it. I wished I could reach right there and just hand you one of these so you could have it tonight for supper if you like cauliflower. But you know, one day the way this world operates, they'll probably figure out some way I can hand that through there and you can eat it. Who knows? But I appreciate y'all watching. I hope y'all have a blessed new year. I hope God blesses us with a much better year than the last 2 years here in this world we're living in. But thanks for watching again. God bless y'all. Have a great day. See y'all next time.